The waterfall sang loudly that afternoon. The kind of deep, endless roar that made the world feel far away and strangely peaceful. The sun shimmered across the surface of the water, throwing tiny rainbows into the mist. Birds hopped between branches overhead. The sky was wide and blue, and everything looked like the perfect backdrop for a romantic picnic. At least, that was what everyone else believed when they saw the couple walking hand in hand through the winding path that led to the cliffside park. No one suspected that the man's smile was hollow. No one imagined that the woman beside him was walking toward danger. And she, sweet, gentle, hopeful, had no idea that this was the last day she would ever see her life the way it used to be. Her name was Mariana Brooks, a 32-year-old Black American woman with warm brown eyes, soft curls tied up loosely behind her head, and a glow that came naturally with pregnancy. She touched her belly from time to time, absent-mindedly, the way expectant mothers do when they feel safe. She believed she was safe today. She believed she was loved, cherished, protected. She believed her husband, Derek Barnes, still adored her the way he once did. Back when he used to joke that her smile could stop traffic, or that her laugh could light up an entire room. Derek walked ahead slightly, holding the picnic basket in one hand, and pretending to enjoy the scenery. He was in his late 30s, handsome in a sharp-featured way, his hair cut fresh, his beard trimmed, and his dark gray suit oddly formal for a picnic. But no one questioned it. People had seen stranger things. They didn't know that Derek dressed up today because he liked the idea of looking respectable in the last moment his wife would see him. He called it symbolic in his mind, clean, neat, prepared, like a man handling business. He glanced back at her only once in a while, his expression unreadable. Not because he was nervous about what he was planning, but because he was busy thinking of someone else. Someone standing far behind them. Someone watching. Layla Stone, Mariana's best friend since college. The woman Mariana trusted with her secrets, her worries, her joys. The same woman she used to pray with, laugh with, cry with. The woman who held her hand during her first miscarriage. The woman who bought tiny baby socks when Mariana found out she was pregnant again. The woman Derek had been sleeping with for months. Layla stood a few paces back on the rocky trail, close enough to observe but far enough that it looked like she was just another park visitor. She wore a slim-fit cream dress that caught the sunlight, her long braids flowing over her shoulder, her lips curved into the tiniest smile, one she quickly hid every time Mariana glanced her way. Layla had always been good at hiding her real feelings. Her entire affair with Derek was a secret built on secrets. Lies wrapped in more lies. And today she felt powerful. Today, everything would finally go her way. Mariana spread out the picnic blanket near the cliffside, laughing softly when the wind tried to blow up the corners. Derek helped anchor it with the basket, though his movements were stiff, impatient. Mariana didn't notice. She was too busy admiring the view. "Oh, Derek," she breathed, holding her belly with both hands. "This place is beautiful. I can't believe you found it." He gave a tight smile. "Yeah. I wanted today to be special." Her heart warmed. She didn't see the double meaning. She didn't know she was walking straight into a plan carefully crafted by the two people she loved most. Layla approached casually, pretending to be surprised. "Oh my God, Mari. Derek? I didn't know you two were here." Mariana's face lit up. "Layla, what are you doing here?" "Oh, just needed some fresh air," Layla replied sweetly. "You know how stressed work has been." Derek didn't say a word. Didn't even look at her. He didn't need to. Their plan was set. Their roles were defined. Their destination was clear. Mariana welcomed Layla to sit with them, already talking excitedly about baby names and nursery colors. Layla nodded and smiled, though her mind was far from the conversation. She was thinking about the new life she planned to start with Derek once Mariana was gone. Mariana stood up to adjust the blanket again, when a sudden gust of wind blew her hair into her face. She laughed and brushed it back, but as she did, her foot slipped slightly on the uneven rock. Derek saw it. The moment. The opportunity. The perfect timing. He rose to his feet slowly, his eyes fixed on her back. She didn't notice the shift in the air behind her. The way his breathing changed. The way his posture tightened. She was too busy stabilizing herself, brushing dirt from her dress, talking softly to the baby in her belly. "This view is everything," she murmured. "I can't wait to take pictures with you too." She never finished, because Derek stepped forward and pushed. It wasn't a gentle push or a desperate one. It was cold, calculated, exact. His hand hit the center of her back with enough force to break her balance completely. Mariana gasped, a soft, short sound of shock. Her eyes widened, her body jerked forward, and suddenly she was falling. She didn't scream at first. Not because she wasn't terrified, but because she couldn't believe what was happening. She twisted midair, her arms flailing, her dress ballooning around her as she plummeted toward the roaring waterfall below. She searched desperately for Derek's face, for his hand, for anything that might explain this, anything that might save her. But all she saw was his expressionless stare, and Layla's smile in the background. A small, satisfied smile she didn't even try to hide anymore. It hit Mariana harder than the fall. They planned this. Both of them. Her husband. Her best friend. Only then did the scream tear from her throat. A raw, heart-splitting sound that was swallowed instantly by the crashing water below. As she fell, memories flashed like lightning. The first time Derek said, "I love you." The day Layla helped pick out her wedding dress. The night she and Derek promised to start a family. The morning Layla brought her soup when she was sick. The ultrasound where she cried from happiness. All of it. Everything she treasured. Collided with the brutal reality of what was happening now. She was falling. Her baby was falling. And no one was coming to help her. Above her, Derek exhaled in relief, wiping subtle sweat from his brow as if he had finished a long task. Layla looked at him with admiration. A twisted kind of affection, like she was watching a hero, not a murderer. "It's done," Derek muttered. Layla stepped closer, sliding her hand into his. "You did what you had to do," she whispered. Derek didn't respond. He just stared down at the water, watching the last ripples where Mariana disappeared. But what none of them knew was that Mariana had not hit the rocks. The waterfall had pulled her into a narrow passage of water that led into a hidden cavern. A place locals spoke of only in stories, a place where many had fallen and lived, though they were never the same after. Inside that dark, icy cavern, Mariana drifted in and out of consciousness, her body bruised, her breathing shallow. She tried to move but pain shot through her side. She whispered weakly, "Baby, hold on please." She had no strength left, but something inside her refused to let her die. She felt the weight of betrayal, the sting of disbelief, the crushing heartbreak of knowing the two people she trusted most wanted her gone. That pain kept her awake, kept her alive. Minutes passed. Or hours. She couldn't tell. The cave was cold, the dripping water echoing like distant footsteps. She floated until the current pushed her toward a rocky ledge. She grabbed at it desperately, her fingers trembling, nails breaking as she pulled herself halfway out of the water. Her entire body shook. Her lips were pale. Her dress clung to her skin like ice. But she was alive. Barely. And as she lay there, one hand on her belly, she whispered the same word over and over again, like a prayer and a promise. Why? Not the cry of a broken woman, but the seed of something fierce, something rising inside her slowly. Pain turning into strength, betrayal turning into determination. Because she realized something in that dark, cold moment. If they wanted her dead, she had to stay alive. If they wanted to erase her, she had to return. If they wanted her silenced, she had to speak. Her survival was no longer just for herself. It was for her child. For justice. For truth. And for the moment she would look both of them in the eyes and say, "You tried to kill the wrong woman." Her fingers tightened on the rock. She inhaled deeply despite the pain. And slowly, painfully, she pulled herself up into the darkness, determined to find a way out, no matter what it took. Mariana clung to the jagged rocks, every breath sharp and painful, every movement sending a fresh wave of agony through her ribs. The cavern was dim, lit only by the weak sunlight filtering in through cracks above. Water dripped steadily from the ceiling, echoing around her like a slow, haunting heartbeat. Her dress was torn, her body bruised, and her fingers scraped raw, but she refused to let go. The shock had faded, replaced by something colder. Something that settled deep in her chest like stone. She had to survive. She had to climb. She had to get out. Even though every part of her screamed for her to lie down and close her eyes, she knew she couldn't. Not now. Not after what Derek and Layla had done. Not after the realization that the love she had trusted was nothing more than a mask hiding a monster. She shifted her weight, teeth clenched, and pulled herself a few inches upward along the slippery rock wall. Her arms trembled violently. She almost slipped back into the freezing water, but she caught herself just in time. "Come on, Mari, come on," she whispered, her teeth chattering. Her belly pulsed with a dull ache. She placed a hand over it protectively. "I'm here. I'm not leaving you." She didn't know if her baby could hear her. She didn't even know if the baby was still safe. Panic twisted in her stomach, but she forced herself to breathe, forced herself to focus on climbing, not drowning in fear. Inch by inch, she pulled herself onto a narrow ledge. She lay there, panting, staring at the ceiling as the reality of everything she had lost washed over her. Her marriage, her best friend, her trust, her safety. Her entire life had been stolen from her in a single heartbeat. And yet, she was still here. Alive. Bleeding. Cold. Heartbroken. But alive. She closed her eyes for a moment, trying to gather what little strength she had left. Her mind drifted to the day she discovered she was pregnant. She remembered Derek lifting her off her feet and spinning her around. The joy in his voice. The tears in his eyes. She'd held his face and whispered, "This baby is our blessing." She thought that moment meant something. She thought it was the beginning of a beautiful future. Instead, it had been nothing more than a convenient lie. Another tool in Derek's cruel, calculated plan. He didn't want a family. He wanted freedom. He wanted Layla. And they were willing to kill her to get it. Her fists clenched weakly. The thought stung so deeply she felt it in her bones. "Why?" she whispered again, but the cavern swallowed her voice. Maybe no one would ever hear her. Maybe no one even knew she was still alive. Maybe the world above already believed she was gone forever. That thought sparked something inside her. Something that looked like fire even in the freezing dark. If they thought she was dead, she could use that. She could come back quietly. She could expose them. She could destroy everything they built on top of her body, except she wasn't gone. She wasn't finished. She wasn't done fighting. She forced her eyes open again. She had to move. She had to find a way out. The cavern stretched deeper into darkness. One direction led to a narrow wall with jagged holds she might be able to climb. The other led into a tunnel carved by years of rushing water. She weighed her options. Climbing up the slick rock toward the waterfall would be nearly impossible. Her ribs screamed at the idea. The tunnel, though unknown and terrifying, might lead somewhere. A river. A stream. A clearing. Anything was better than staying here to die. She gripped the rocky edge and began dragging herself forward, her body heavy, her breath shallow. The tunnel was cold, the floor uneven. She crawled slowly, painfully, each movement deliberate and shaky. Water puddles soaked her palms and knees. The tunnel walls narrowed at some points, forcing her to squeeze through awkwardly, scraping her skin. At one point she paused, breathing hard, trying not to collapse. She could hear water rushing somewhere ahead. That gave her hope. Maybe the tunnel led out of the cavern system. Maybe it opened to a riverbank or woodland at the base of the waterfall. She pressed on, driven by will alone. The tunnel twisted and dropped slightly downward. Her hands trembled as she lowered herself carefully, afraid she would fall again. The drop wasn't far, but it was enough to make her wince when she landed on her side. Her ribs throbbed violently. She bit her lip so hard she drew blood. For a moment she lay still, tears gathering in her eyes. She wasn't weak, but the pain was overwhelming. "You can't stop," she whispered to herself. "Not now, not yet." After a minute, she pushed herself upright again. The tunnel opened into a wider chamber with a narrow stream running through the middle. Moonlight filtered through a crack above, illuminating the room in a cool silver glow. She dragged herself toward the water, cupped her hands, and sipped slowly. The water was icy, but it soothed her dry throat. She splashed some on her face, shivering as the cold hit her skin. She didn't have time to rest. Not if she wanted to live. On the other side of the chamber was another opening, smaller, but manageable. She crawled through it, following the sound of rushing water. Her breathing became labored. Fatigue clawed at her limbs. Her vision blurred occasionally, but she forced herself to continue. She refused to collapse. She refused to die in the darkness. She didn't know how long she crawled, minutes, maybe hours, before the tunnel finally ended. A massive crack in the rock wall opened into daylight. Real daylight. Bright. Warm. Hopeful. Her heart thudded wildly. She hurried forward faster, nearly stumbling as her hands touched the mossy ground outside. And then, with a trembling gasp, she pulled herself out. The fresh air hit her face like a miracle. She collapsed on the grass near a quiet stream at the base of the waterfall. The hidden lower basin no one ever visited. Her body sank into the earth. She breathed deeply, inhaling freedom, air, life. She had escaped. She had survived. But she was still dangerously far from safety. She needed to find help. Slowly, painfully, she sat up, clutching her belly. We're okay, she whispered, though she wasn't sure if it was true. She needed a hospital. She needed someone, anyone, who would believe what happened. But she also needed to be cautious. Derek was powerful, connected, charming, manipulative. If she surfaced publicly too soon, he would twist the narrative before she even had a chance to speak. He'd say she slipped. He'd say it was an accident. He'd cry in front of cameras and pretend to be heartbroken. Layla would comfort him, pretending to be the grieving best friend. They would bury her reputation before she could expose them. She couldn't let that happen. She needed to move quietly, secretly, carefully. She pulled herself to her feet, one trembling step at a time. Her legs were weak, but they held. She followed the stream, using trees for support. After several minutes, the forest opened into a small dirt path. Not a main road, just a quiet hiking trail. Her heart lifted. She moved as quickly as she could, her breath ragged, her body screaming for rest. A soft rustle ahead made her stop. A figure stepped out from behind a tree. A man in his late 60s with kind eyes and a walking stick. He wore a forest ranger uniform. His brows furrowed when he saw her condition. "Ma'am," he said gently, stepping toward her. "Are you hurt? What happened to you?" Mariana opened her mouth, but her voice cracked. The tears she had been holding back finally broke free, spilling down her cheeks. She collapsed into his arms. "Help me," she whispered faintly. "Please help my baby." The ranger supported her carefully, his expression shifting from concern to alarm when he saw her injuries. "Come on, sweetheart," he murmured. "You're safe now. I've got you." Safe. The word almost didn't feel real. But for the first time since she fell, Mariana let herself believe it. She let her eyes close as the ranger lifted her gently, carrying her toward his cabin near the trail. She didn't know it existed, but he said he usually stayed there during patrols. He laid her on a small bed, covered her with blankets, and called for emergency services on his radio. "Hang in there," he said softly. "Ambulance is on the way." Veronica opened her eyes weakly. "Please don't tell anyone my name." "Not yet." The ranger nodded slowly, sensing the fear behind her request. "All right. You rest. We'll take this one step at a time." As sirens echoed in the distance, Mariana placed a protective hand over her belly once again. She wasn't dead. Not yet. And because she lived, Derek and Layla's lives were about to change forever. The sirens grew louder, cutting through the quiet of the woods like sharp blades. Mariana lay still on the small bed, wrapped in the ranger's worn blanket, watching dust float slowly through the air as if time itself was moving in slow motion. Her body hurt everywhere, but inside her chest, something had gone numb. Not dead. Just frozen. The ranger, whose name she had learned was Harris, stayed close by the door, glancing back at her every few seconds like he was afraid she might disappear if he looked away for too long. "You holding on?" he asked gently. Mariana nodded weakly. I think so." Harris gave her a soft, sad smile. "But that means you're already stronger than whatever tried to break you." His words landed somewhere deep in her, like a small light flickering in a pitch-black tunnel. The door burst open a moment later, and 2 paramedics rushed in, pushing a stretcher. They froze when they saw her condition. Wet clothes, shredded skin, bruises blooming across her arms and neck, the subtle roundness of her pregnant belly under the blanket. "Ma'am, can you hear me?" one of them asked, crouching beside her. "Yes," she whispered. "We're going to take you to the hospital, okay? You're safe now. We're going to take care of you and the baby." Safe. She still wasn't sure she believed that word, but she nodded anyway because she didn't have any other choice. They lifted her carefully onto the stretcher. Pain flared in her ribs and along her spine, but she bit back the cry, sucking in air through her teeth instead. Harris followed them out of the cabin, his face lined with worry. "I found her near the lower stream," he told the paramedics. "Looked like she came out from the rocks near the waterfall." One of them glanced at Mariana with curiosity and concern. "You fell?" he asked. Her throat tightened. My husband pushed me," she rasped. The words felt like glass in her mouth, but she forced them out. She needed someone, anyone, to hear the truth at least once before the world was filled with lies. The paramedic held her gaze for a second longer, his expression changing from routine concern to something sharper. "All right," he said quietly. "We'll let the doctors know. You just focus on staying awake for me. You got that?" She nodded, blinking slowly as they rolled her toward the ambulance. Harris walked beside her until they reached the vehicle. "I'll come check on you," he said gently. "If you want. You're not alone in this, okay?" Tears stung her eyes again, but this time they weren't from pain. "Thank you," she whispered. The back doors closed. The sirens wailed. The world outside blurred into streaks of green and gray as the ambulance sped away from the forest and toward the city. Inside, the paramedics worked quickly. One checked her pulse. Another put an oxygen mask gently over her nose and mouth. Another placed careful hands on her belly. "Any pain here?" he asked. She nodded, eyes wide. It hurts, but not like sharp. More like pressure." "I don't know. I'm scared." "That's okay," he said calmly. "Fear is normal. You've been through something big. We'll get you and your baby checked out right away. Just keep talking to me, all right? What's your name?" Her instinct was to say it without thinking, but she remembered the cliff, the cold eyes, the satisfied smile in the background. If Derek found out she was alive too quickly, he would move fast. He would twist things. He might even try again. She hesitated. "My name is," she swallowed. "Anna." The paramedic nodded, writing it down without questioning. "Okay, Anna. I'm Marco. You're in good hands now." Anna. It wasn't her name, but for now it was a shield. She closed her eyes and let the movement of the ambulance rock her gently. She focused on breathing. In, out, in, out. She spoke quietly in her mind to the baby. "We're not done. We're still here. I won't let them win." When the ambulance pulled into the hospital bay, bright white lights hit her face. Nurses and doctors were already waiting. They wheeled her out. Voices overlapping. Sharp, professional, urgent. Possible fall from height. Hypothermic. Pregnant. Unknown trauma to abdomen. Vitals. Unstable but responsive. They pushed her into a room with bright lights and beeping monitors. Hands moved over her quickly, stabilizing, examining, testing. She heard fragments of words. Ultrasound. Internal bleeding. Observation. For fluids. Pain management. Then a gentle female voice broke through the noise. "Hi Anna, my name is Dr. Collins. I'm going to check on your baby now, okay?" Mariana nodded, her chest tight. Warm gel spread across her belly. A small device slid over her skin. For a few seconds, there was only static and silence. Her heart pounded. Her mind raced with worst-case scenarios. Please, please, please. And then a sound. Fast. Steady. Rhythmic. The baby's heartbeat filled the room. Mariana's entire body sagged with relief. Tears rolled down her temples as she stared at the ceiling. "The baby is okay?" she whispered. Dr. Collins nodded, her voice soft. "So far so good. The heartbeat is strong. We're going to keep you under observation for a while, But right now, your baby is a fighter. A shaky laugh escaped Mariana's lips. Like their mother, I guess. Dr. Collins gave her a small smile. Exactly. They treated her injuries, wrapped her ribs, stitched where necessary, warmed her with blankets. After what felt like hours, the chaos slowed. The bright lights dimmed slightly. Machines settled into a steady rhythm. A nurse adjusted her pillow and checked her for. Do you have any family we should call? The nurse asked gently. Mariana turned her head away, staring at the wall. Family. She thought she had one. A husband. A best friend. A baby on the way. Now all she had was the child inside her, and the ashes of betrayal still burning in her chest. No, she said quietly. Not right now. The nurse didn't push. All right. If you change your mind, just press the button and let us know. When she was finally left alone in the quiet of the room, Mariana let the weight of the day crash over her. The fall. The water. The cavern. The tunnel. Harris. The ambulance. The heartbeat. The lie she had told about her name. It was too much. Too heavy. Too big for one heart to carry. She covered her face with her hands and sobbed, deep, soundless sobs that shook her bandaged ribs and blurred her vision. She cried for the love she thought she had. She cried for every moment she doubted her own instincts over the last few months. For every strange look Derek shared with Layla, when he thought she wasn't watching. For every time he came home smelling like perfume that wasn't hers, and she chose to believe his excuses instead of her own intuition. She cried for the baby, who deserved better parents than a murderer and a traitor. And somewhere between tears and exhaustion, a thought rose quietly inside her. I am not going to disappear. I am not going to be their victim in silence. They tried to erase her. She would become the one thing they never expected. A witness. A storm. A living truth. Hours later, just before dawn, she woke to the soft sound of a television playing faintly in the hallway. Curiosity pulled her from the haze of sleep. She shifted slowly, careful of her ribs, and reached for the remote on the bedside table. She turned on the small TV attached to the wall. The news channel flickered to life. And there they were. Derek and Layla. On the screen. Standing near the edge of the same cliff. Police tape around them. Emergency workers. Dogs. Flashing lights. Reporters. Tragic accident during a romantic picnic, the anchor was saying. Local businessman Derek Barnes is seen here, devastated, after his pregnant wife, Mariana Brooks, reportedly fell from the cliff near Riverstone Falls late this afternoon. Search efforts are ongoing, though authorities fear the worst as strong currents make recovery difficult. The camera cut to Derek. He looked destroyed. Eyes red. Face pale. Mouth trembling. He clutched Layla's hand like he was drowning. I don't know what happened, he said hoarsely, voice shaking just enough to seem real. She slipped. She wanted to take a picture near the edge and I tried to grab her but she just fell. My wife, my baby. He broke down on camera, leaning into Layla for support. Layla's eyes glistened with tears as she stroked his back softly. She was my best friend, Layla whispered, voice fragile and trembling. I can't believe she's gone. The reporter nodded sympathetically. We are so sorry for your loss. Mariana stared at the screen, heart pounding so loudly she could barely hear the rest of the broadcast. Fury burned through her body like fire. Her hands clenched around the sheets. He was already lying, playing the grieving husband, laying the foundation of his story while she lay in a hospital bed under a false name. She watched as the camera lingered on his face, capturing every tear, every sob. He looked so broken that anyone who didn't know him would swear he was innocent. But she knew better now. She knew the cold look in his eyes when he pushed her. She knew the satisfaction on Layla's face as she fell. She saw it clearly, burned into her memory like a scar that would never fade. Nobody will believe me, she whispered into the empty room. Then another part of her answered. Maybe not yet. But they will. The door opened quietly and Dr. Collins walked in, clipboard in hand. She noticed Mariana's eyes fixed on the television, and followed her gaze. Oh, she said softly. You're watching the news. Mariana pressed her lips together. That's my husband. she said before she could stop herself. Dr. Collins turned to her sharply. Your husband. Her chest rose and fell unevenly. She had two choices. Keep pretending or risk telling at least one person the truth. I lied, she said finally, voice shaking. My name isn't Anna. Dr. Collins closed the door all the way and stepped closer to the bed, her expression serious but kind. What is your name? She asked. Mariana hesitated, then exhaled. My name is Mariana Brooks. And that man on the screen, the one crying, he's the one who tried to kill me. The words dropped into the room like a bomb. For a moment, there was only silence. Dr. Collins sat down on the edge of the bed. Mariana, she said slowly, choosing her words carefully. That is a very serious accusation. I know, Mariana replied, tears burning her eyes. But I'm not lying. He pushed me. I didn't slip. He pushed me off the cliff. And my best friend was there. She watched. She knew. They planned it. Dr. Collins studied her face, her bruises, her bandaged ribs, the fear and fire in her eyes. She could have dismissed her words as trauma, as confusion, as shock. But something in Mariana's gaze made it hard to ignore. Why would he do that? The doctor asked gently. Mariana laughed dryly, a bitter sound. Because he's in love with her. With Layla. And I was in the way. A pregnant wife doesn't fit into the fantasy life they want to build together. The doctor looked back at the television, where Derek and Layla were still giving statements near the waterfall. Then she turned back to Mariana. Have you told anyone else this? She asked. Just the paramedic. I didn't give my real name. I was scared. Dr. Collins nodded slowly. Okay, here's what we're going to do. First, I'm going to make sure your medical records are locked under restricted access. That means only a few staff members can see them. Second, I'm going to recommend that we report this to the police. Not as a formal accusation yet, but as a statement that you are alive and that you have a different version of what happened. Panic flashed across Mariana's face. If the police know, he'll find out. He'll know I'm alive. I'm not ready. I have nothing. It's his word against mine. And he's already on TV, crying and playing the perfect husband. Dr. Collins thought for a moment. Do you have anyone you trust outside of them? Family? Close friends? Mariana shook her head slowly. My parents are gone. I have a cousin in another state, but we haven't talked in years. My whole circle, her voice cracked. It was them. Him and Layla. The truth of that cut her deeply. She had wrapped her whole life around two people who had left her to die. Dr. Collins exhaled. All right. Then we'll take this one step at a time. For now, your name in this hospital stays as Anna. I'll note that you requested anonymity due to domestic violence concerns. That will keep your information more protected. But, Mariana, at some point, if what you're saying is true, you will need to tell your story. I know, she whispered. I need time. I need to think. I need to be strong enough not to fall apart in front of him. You won't be alone, the doctor said softly. I can connect you with a social worker. Maybe a lawyer. We see more situations like this than you might think. She paused. Men who seem perfect on camera. Men no one would ever suspect. Mariana looked back at the TV, where Derek was wiping his eyes while Layla stared down at the ground. Her face a mask of grief. How long will you keep me here? Mariana asked. At least a few days, Dr. Collins replied. We need to monitor you and the baby. But I promise you this. No one will be told you're here, unless you say so. Not your husband. Not your so-called best friend. You are in control now. Control. She had lost every piece of it at that cliff. But slowly, piece by piece, she could feel it slipping back into her hands. After the doctor left, Mariana turned the television off. She'd seen enough of Derek's performance. She didn't need to hear one more fake tear, one more broken word. She lay there, staring at the dim ceiling, listening to the beeping of the monitors and the distant footsteps in the hallway. The hospital room felt strange, safe but sterile, warm but lonely. Her mind wandered back over the years, searching for signs she had missed. The first time Derek canceled a date night because of work, but came home smelling different. The way his phone always seemed to be face down around her. The way he flinched once when she mentioned Layla moving to another city for a job. How he quickly masked it with a laugh. The moment Layla suggested they all take a group vacation, once the baby comes. And Derek's eyes had flickered with something she couldn't name at the time. All the clues had been there. She just hadn't wanted to see them. That realization hurt almost as much as the fall. Because it meant that somewhere deep down, she already knew something was wrong. But love had covered her eyes. Trust had quieted her doubt. Now both were gone. Her phone had been lost in the fall. Her purse too. She had nothing. Not her ID, not her cards, not a single photo to hold on to. Her entire life had been stripped away in a matter of hours. But maybe, just maybe, that was also a strange kind of freedom. She could rebuild. She could choose who she wanted to be from here on out. Not just the wife of a wealthy man. Not just the shadow of a charming liar. She could become the woman who survived him. The one who refused to stay silent. The one who would eventually stand in front of him. Not as the trembling victim he tried to push off a cliff, but as the storm that came back for him. Her eyes drifted shut, exhaustion finally dragging her into a deeper sleep. But even as she slept, her mind wouldn't fully rest. She saw the cliff, the water, the cavern, the tunnel, Harris's kind eyes, the heartbeat on the screen, Derek's fake tears, Layla's empty expression. Somewhere between dreams and waking, she made herself a quiet promise. I will rise. I will heal. And then I will return. Not to beg. Not to forgive. But to reveal. To ruin the lie they built on top of my supposed grave. To show the world who they really are. To protect my child from ever falling into their hands. When she woke again, sunlight was streaming through the small window beside her bed. A soft knock sounded at the door. Come in, she said quietly. The door opened and Harris stepped inside, holding a small paper bag and a folded jacket. He looked almost shy, like he wasn't sure if she would remember him. Hope it's okay that I dropped by, he said. The nurse said I could see you for a few minutes. A genuine smile tugged at her lips for the first time since the fall. Harris, she said softly. You came. Course I did. He placed the jacket on the chair. Brought you some snacks too. The hospital food here isn't exactly famous. She laughed weakly. Thank you. I don't even know how to start thanking you. If you hadn't found me in those woods, you'd still be there, he finished gently. Or worse. Let's not think about that. He pulled a chair closer to the bed and sat down, his gaze gentle but curious. The nurse said your name's Anna. Mariana hesitated, then sighed. That's not really my name, she said. It was just the first thing that came out. He nodded slowly, not surprised. Didn't think it fit you. So what should I call you? Mariana, she said quietly. My name is Mariana Brooks. He repeated it once, like he was committing it to memory. Mariana, he said. That's a strong name. She shifted slightly, wincing. Harris, can I ask you something? Anything. When you found me, did it look like I slipped? He held her gaze, his expression serious. No, he said simply. I've worked around those trails for years. Seen my share of accidents. Slips. Falls. People who get too close to the edge, you know? But where you were, how you were, it didn't match that. It looked wrong. Her throat tightened. My husband pushed me, she whispered. He made it look like an accident. And now he's on the news, crying like he didn't try to kill me. Harris exhaled slowly. I saw the news this morning, he admitted. I recognized the waterfall. I had a feeling. Do you believe me? She asked, the question raw and terrifying on her tongue. Because if this stranger didn't believe her, why would anyone else? Harris didn't answer right away. He looked at her, really looked at her. At the pain lingering behind her eyes, the bruises, the quiet strength sitting beside the fear. Yes, he said finally. I believe you. Her eyes flooded instantly with tears she had been holding back. She looked away, wiping her cheeks. Thank you, she whispered. You don't owe me thanks, he replied. You owe yourself justice. And I'm guessing you're the kind of woman who doesn't stay down for long. She let out a shaky breath. I don't feel very strong right now. That's okay, Harris said. Being strong doesn't mean you're never broken. It means you keep going, even when you are. His words settled over her like a blanket. Gentle. Solid. Real. For the first time since the nightmare at the cliff began, Mariana didn't feel completely alone in the world. She had a doctor who believed enough to protect her name. She had a ranger who found her and believed her story. She had a baby whose heartbeat refused to give up. Step by step, piece by piece, a new path was forming in front of her. Not easy, not simple, not gentle, but real. And somewhere far away, standing in front of cameras and mourners, Derek Barnes had no idea that the woman he thought he had thrown away like trash was quietly becoming the most dangerous person in his world. His living victim. His silent witness. The wife who refused to stay dead. The next 24 hours passed in a blur of tests, whispers, footsteps, and the soft beeping of machines. Mariana drifted in and out of sleep, each time waking with fresh flashes of memory. Her body falling through the air, Derek's cold eyes above her, Layla's smile in the background. The images replayed behind her eyelids like a cruel movie she couldn't turn off. But each time she blinked back into reality, she reminded herself, I am still here. They didn't win. Not yet. By the next morning, she was able to sit up on her own without the room spinning too violently. Dr. Collins came in to check on her with the same quiet care as before, reviewing her vitals, palpating her ribs gently, checking the baby's heartbeat again. You're stabilizing, the doctor said with a small smile. Your body is strong. Your baby is strong. That's good. Strong. She didn't feel strong, but she took the compliment anyway. You have a visitor, Dr. Collins added. Mariana stiffened instantly. Fear shot through her veins. Who? Dr. Collins held up a calming hand. Relax. It's the ranger. Harris. I wouldn't let anyone else in without your permission. Mariana exhaled slowly. Relief washed down her spine like warm water. The tension in her shoulders eased. Okay, she whispered. You can let him in. Harris entered a moment later, a small plastic bag in one hand, a thermos in the other. His presence somehow grounded the room, steady, humble, earnest. The kind of man whose energy made you breathe easier without realizing why. Morning, he said softly. I brought you some real food. Hospital breakfasts look like something an army would reject. He set the items on her bedside table. Inside the bag was a fresh croissant, a little tub of cut fruit, and a muffin. The thermos smelled like warm ginger tea. She blinked fast, touched by the simple kindness. You didn't have to do all that, she said. Maybe not. Harris shrugged. But I wanted to. She smiled, a small, tired, grateful smile. Harris pulled his usual chair close to the bed. How you feeling today? Sore, she admitted. Tired. A little scared. But better. By the way she said scared, he understood she didn't mean scared of pain, but of being found. He leaned forward, elbows on his knees. I know you don't want to talk to the police yet. I respect that. But I want you to consider something. She looked up. If I found you, he said gently, you can bet other people might too. Hikers. Locals. News crews. And if someone recognizes you from the reports and calls it in, Derek might find out before you're ready. The thought made her stomach twist. What are my options? She whispered. You could stay hidden under the false name, he said. But that'll only last a few days. Hospitals need real identity for follow-ups, insurance, paperwork. Eventually someone's going to need information you can't give. He watched her carefully. The better option is to reach out to someone who can legally protect you. A lawyer. Someone who can help you come forward safely, on your terms. Her fingers tightened around the blanket. The idea of facing Derek's lies was terrifying. But the idea of him walking free, building a new life with Layla, using her death for sympathy, that was worse. I don't have any money, she murmured. I know someone, Harris said. She's local. She works domestic violence cases. Shady husbands, abusive partners, scams, inheritance theft, she's seen it all. She's not scared of powerful men. And she doesn't charge up front. If she takes your case, it's because she believes you. What's her name? Jordan Reeves. Something about the name felt solid. Not gentle like Harris, not clinical like Dr. Collins, but tough. Someone who wouldn't break under pressure. Mariana bit her lip. Can you ask her to come? Harris nodded. Already called her this morning. She said she'll stop by after lunch. Her breath caught. Thank you. He shook his head. Don't thank me yet. Jordan's intense. But she's good. Very good. For the first time since the fall, Mariana felt the slightest hint of a plan forming. Not a full plan, just a shape, an outline, a direction. But even that was something. The rest of the morning passed quietly. Nurses checked her vitals. Dr. Collins came and went. She tried to eat. She tried to sleep. She tried not to stare at the TV, where the news replayed Derek's fake grieving face every 30 minutes. At exactly 1:12 p.m., a knock sounded at the door. Come in, Mariana said, pulling the blanket closer. The door opened, and a woman stepped inside wearing a crisp black blazer and dark jeans. She was in her mid-40s, tall, athletic build, locks pulled back neatly. Her expression was sharp, intelligent. Someone who walked into every room like she owned it, no matter who else was there. You must be Anna, the woman said. Mariana froze, then shook her head slowly. My real name is Mariana Brooks. The woman's eyes softened just slightly. She stepped closer and extended her hand. I'm Jordan, she said. I'm here to help. Mariana shook her hand. Jordan's grip was firm, strong, grounding. Harris rose from his chair. I'll leave you two to talk. Mariana grabbed his wrist lightly. Stay. Please. He nodded and sat back down. Jordan pulled the other chair closer to the bed. All right, Mariana. Before we go any further, I need to ask you one question. And I need you to answer truthfully. Mariana swallowed. Okay. Jordan leaned in. Did you fall? Her voice hardened. Or were you pushed? The world went quiet. Mariana felt the pressure of every word she was about to say. Her heart hammered in her chest. Her hands trembled. I was pushed, she whispered. My husband pushed me off the cliff. Jordan didn't react with shock or drama. Instead, she simply nodded, as if that answer only confirmed what she had already suspected. Tell me everything, she said. So Mariana did. She told her about the picnic, about Derek's cold smile, about Layla's presence, about the push, about the fall, about the cavern, the crawl through the tunnels, Harris, the fake name, the news report, every detail, even the ones that felt small or messy or confusing. Jordan listened without interrupting once. No rushing, no disbelief, no judgment. When Mariana finished, Jordan sat back slowly, letting out a thoughtful breath. Okay, she said. I've handled dozens of cases, but this one is going to shake a whole city. Mariana blinked. You believe me? Jordan's expression sharpened. Honey, if I didn't believe you, I wouldn't waste my time. Tears filled Mariana's eyes. Thank you. Jordan held up a hand. Don't thank me yet. Let me tell you what we're dealing with. She pulled out a notepad. Number 1. Right now, Derek Barnes is establishing himself publicly as the grieving husband. That helps him, and makes you look unstable if you suddenly appear. Mariana swallowed hard. Number 2. If he finds out you're alive too soon, he will try to spin the story before you can speak. Worst case, he tries to finish the job. Fear rippled through Mariana's body. Number 3. Because there were no witnesses except the mistress, and because he pre-framed it as an accident, your case will be difficult, unless we move very strategically. Strategically how? Mariana whispered. Jordan smiled. A small, dangerous smile. That's where I come in. And step 1 is simple, you disappear. Mariana frowned. Disappear. Jordan nodded. Until you're strong enough to stand in front of him and tell the truth, you need to stay hidden. No family. No friends. No social media. And absolutely no public record. But the hospital. I'll handle that, Jordan said. I'll request protective status. Domestic violence protocol. They'll lock down your file under your chosen name. And after that? Mariana asked, voice trembling. Jordan tapped her pen thoughtfully. After that, we build your case quietly. We gather evidence. We document injuries. We record your statement. We wait until you're physically stable. She leaned forward. And then, when the time is right, we bring your truth forward in a way he can't escape. Mariana inhaled shakily. I'm scared. You should be, Jordan said honestly. Men like Derek don't let their victims speak easily. But fear doesn't disqualify you. It means you understand the stakes. She reached out and gently touched Mariana's hand. And it means we win this smartly, not recklessly. Mariana nodded slowly. Her heart beat fast, not from terror this time, but from a rising sense of purpose. Do I have a case? She whispered. Jordan's eyes hardened into steel. You don't just have a case. You have a story that will bury him alive, legally, publicly, and permanently. A tiny spark ignited inside Mariana. Hope. Dangerous, fragile hope. Jordan stood. I'll begin filing the necessary protections this afternoon. Harris will stay in touch. And Mariana. Yes. Jordan's voice softened. You survived something no woman should ever have to survive. That alone makes you powerful. Your job now is to heal. Ours is to prepare. After she left, Mariana leaned back slowly, breathing in through her nose, out through her mouth. For the first time since Derek's hands pushed her off that cliff, she felt like the ground beneath her might someday be solid again. Harris stood quietly. She's the best, he said. She's terrifying, Mariana whispered. He chuckled softly. That too. Mariana's eyes settled on her hands, bruised, trembling, but alive. I'm coming back, she said quietly. Not today. Not tomorrow. But I'm coming back. Harris nodded. And when you do, the world won't know what hit it. Mariana closed her eyes. She could almost see it. Her return. Her truth. Her justice. Her strength. Slow. Patient. Inevitable. The next few days in the hospital passed like slow-moving clouds, soft at the edges but heavy underneath. Mariana spent most of the time drifting between light sleep and quiet wakefulness, her bruises turning dark purple, then fading slowly toward yellow. Her ribs remained tender, her back ached constantly, and her right shoulder throbbed if she moved too quickly. But her baby stayed strong. Each ultrasound showed a heartbeat that flickered like a stubborn flame refusing to go out. Every morning, Dr. Collins checked on her with calm professionalism. Every afternoon, a nurse changed her bandages and encouraged her to keep eating. And almost every evening, Harris visited with something small. A magazine, a soft scarf, a breakfast sandwich he picked up on the way, or simply a gentle presence that made the room feel less empty. He never asked too many questions, never pushed her to talk when she didn't want to. He just showed up, quietly, consistently, like sunlight through a window. Jordan checked in twice, always brisk, always focused, always wearing that unwavering confidence that made Mariana feel like maybe, just maybe, this nightmare could actually be dismantled piece by piece. But after the third day, Jordan called with news that made Mariana's skin go cold. I've filed protective status for your medical information, Jordan said. But Mariana, your husband has already tried calling local clinics and stations. He's asking about any unidentified woman brought in after a fall. He's pretending to be worried. Mariana felt her heart tighten painfully. Her fingers curled into the blanket. He's looking for me. He wants to confirm you're dead, Jordan replied flatly. He wants the closure of knowing the plan worked. And if he finds out you're alive, he'll panic. And panicking men do stupid things. Mariana swallowed hard. What do we do? You stay hidden, Jordan said. You don't move. You don't call anyone. You let me handle everything. After the call ended, Mariana stared at the ceiling for a long time. Fear slithered along her spine, but beneath it was something else, a rising, pulsing determination. Derek wasn't worried about her. He wasn't grieving. He was making sure his crime stayed buried. But she was alive. And that changed everything. On the fourth day, Dr. Collins declared her stable enough to be discharged soon, but only if she had a safe place to go. Jordan stepped in again. She visited that afternoon, closing the door behind her with a soft click. "I've arranged something," Jordan said, sitting down with a stack of papers. "We'll move you to a safe apartment outside the city. It's used for victims in high-risk cases. No one except me, the hospital, and Harris will know where you are." Mariana frowned. "Harris?" Jordan nodded. "He's been vetted. He's trustworthy. And more importantly, he knows the terrain, the trails, the area where you fell. If we need someone familiar with the location, he's valuable." Mariana exhaled slowly. It was strange how quickly someone you barely knew could become a piece of your survival. "Will I be able to go outside?" she asked quietly. "Yes," Jordan said. "But not far. And not often. And never alone for the first few weeks." Mariana folded her hands over her belly. "And Derek? What is he doing now?" Jordan pulled out her phone and turned the screen toward her. A picture filled the display. Derek standing in front of a crowd at a candlelight vigil near the waterfall. Head bowed dramatically, Layla by his side pretending to hold back tears. "He organized a memorial," Jordan said flatly. "You've been missing for 4 days, which means he's now pushing the narrative that you might never be found." The picture made Mariana's blood boil. Derek wore morning black perfectly, hand on his chest like a grieving saint. Layla leaned against him, face twisted in sorrow. Together, they looked like a heartbroken pair mourning the tragedy of fate. "He's disgusting," Mariana whispered. "He's strategic," Jordan corrected. "He's building credibility, sympathy. He's creating a version of himself for the public that will be hard to tear down later. But that's fine. Let him talk. Let him drown in his lies." Jordan leaned forward, voice lowering. "Because one day, you'll walk into the police station alive. And the world he built will crumble in seconds." A painful, powerful shiver ran through Mariana's chest. She nodded slowly, the smallest fire of resolve igniting in her eyes. That night, when the nurses dimmed the lights and the hospital hallways grew quiet, Mariana lay awake thinking about everything she'd lost. Her home, her sense of safety, her best friend, her marriage. But she also thought about what she had gained: clarity, resilience, and a reason to fight that was growing inside her belly with each passing day. When dawn broke, she was ready. Jordan arrived at noon with everything arranged. A wheelchair, a new set of clothes, official paperwork under the name Anna Rivera, and a quiet path out of the hospital through a private side exit. Harris waited outside next to his truck, wearing a soft blue flannel shirt and a worried expression. "You okay to ride?" he asked. "I'll manage," she said with a faint smile. Jordan helped her into the passenger seat and adjusted her seatbelt carefully. "We'll follow you in my car," Jordan told Harris. "No detours. No stops." Harris nodded. Mariana gazed out the window as they drove away, watching the hospital fade behind trees and distance. She felt exposed, like any car behind them could be Derek's. Every passing vehicle made her stomach clench. Harris noticed her tension and spoke softly without taking his eyes off the road. "He can't find you here," he said. "We're far outside town. No one knows where we're going." "Are you sure?" she murmured. "Positive." "And if he looks everywhere?" Harris tightened his grip on the wheel. "Then let him. The world is big. You're not as easy to erase as he thinks." The safe apartment was small but clean. Neutral-colored walls, soft lighting, a comfortable bed, a kitchenette, a bathroom stocked with essentials. It felt nothing like her old home with Derek. It didn't feel like a cage or a mansion or a picture-perfect facade. It felt like a place to start over. When Jordan finished checking every lock and window, she placed a burner phone on the counter. "This is for emergencies," Jordan said. "You call me or Harris. No one else." Mariana nodded. Jordan studied her for a moment. Her bruised face, the quiet steadiness settling in her posture. "You're stronger today than you were yesterday," Jordan said. "I don't feel strong." "You don't have to feel it for it to be true." After Jordan left, the apartment felt achingly silent. Harris lingered awkwardly in the doorway. "If you need anything, food, blankets, hell, a new pillow, you just call. I'm not far." Mariana met his eyes. "Why are you helping me so much?" He hesitated, then shrugged quietly. Because you didn't deserve what happened to you. And because you look like someone who's been fighting alone for a long time. She swallowed hard. Thank you. Call me if you need anything, he said again before stepping out. The door closed. For the first time in days, Mariana was completely alone. She walked slowly to the bedroom and sat on the edge of the bed. Her hand drifted to her belly. It's just us now, she whispered. The baby fluttered lightly in response, almost as if answering. I won't let him take anything else from us, she whispered. I promise. Night came, and for the first time since the cliff, she slept without nightmares. The next several days moved slowly but steadily. Jordan visited every few days with updates. Harris showed up with groceries and warm meals. Dr. Collins sent a volunteer nurse once to check on her healing ribs privately. Mariana learned to navigate the apartment, memorize the shadows, familiarize herself with the creaks in the floorboards so nothing would surprise her. But outside this tiny safety bubble, the world was moving. And Derek was gaining sympathy. Each day, new posts appeared online about the tragic disappearance of a kind woman. And the husband who lost everything. People sent prayers, condolences, flowers to the cliffside. And Layla? Layla posted daily tributes, long emotional messages about her best friend who was taken too soon, adding pictures of them together smiling. Mariana read them on Jordan's phone, her stomach twisting with disgust. I can't believe she has the nerve, she whispered. Jordan studied the posts with calm calculation. This is good. Good. Mariana snapped. Yes, Jordan said evenly. The more they dramatize now, the more hypocritical they'll look later when you return. Everyone who comforted them will turn on them. Public sympathy is like glass. It shatters easily once the truth hits. Mariana clenched her jaw. I want the truth to hit them hard. It will, Jordan said. But not yet. Not until we're ready. One evening, while Harris was dropping off dinner, Mariana surprised herself by asking, Do I look different? He blinked. Different how? Different from before, she said quietly. The woman they pushed. The woman who loved them. Harris studied her face for a long moment. Her bruises had faded, but something else had sharpened. Not hardness, clarity. You look determined, he said softly. And a little dangerous. In a good way. Mariana laughed for the first time in weeks, a small, real laugh that warmed her chest. Dangerous, she repeated, shaking her head. I've never been dangerous in my life. You survived what they planned to kill you with, Harris replied. That makes you more dangerous than they'll ever understand. She looked down at her hands, flexing her fingers slowly. I want them to see me again. I want them to feel my presence before I even speak. And they will, Harris said. The next morning, Jordan arrived earlier than usual. Her face was tense, her steps brisk. We have a problem, Jordan said the moment she stepped inside. Mariana's heart dropped. What? Jordan pulled out her phone and turned the screen toward her. On the screen was breaking news. A body had been found at the base of a river farther downstream. Derek was already on scene. Layla was crying. And the news headline flashed. Authorities believe missing woman's body located after 5 days of search. Mariana grabbed the arm of the chair to steady herself. That's not me, she whispered. That can't be me. It's not, Jordan confirmed. But Derek is trying to claim it is. Mariana's blood ran cold. He wants the case closed, Jordan said. He wants you declared dead officially. He wants insurance money, Mariana murmured. Insurance, sympathy, attention, and freedom to marry his mistress, Jordan said. But most importantly, he wants the investigation over. If the body is you, then the police have no reason to keep searching or questioning. Mariana felt dizzy. What do we do? Jordan looked at her with burning determination. We fight back, she said. Quietly, powerfully, strategically. And then Jordan leaned closer, voice low. It's time we start preparing your return. Mariana inhaled sharply. My return. Jordan smiled. Oh yes, Mariana. One day soon, you are going to walk back into the world. Not as the victim they buried, but as the storm they never saw coming. A fierce, Trembling heat filled Mariana's chest. She wasn't done. She wasn't defeated. She wasn't dead. She was rising. And Derek had no idea what was coming for him. The news report continued playing softly as Mariana's breathing grew shallow. She couldn't tear her eyes away from the screen. Police officers stood in a semicircle near the riverbank while divers pulled a stretcher toward the shore. The camera zoomed in as Derek placed his hand dramatically over his face, shaking with what looked like grief. Layla clung to him like a widow might cling to her brother-in-law. Too close, too emotional, too rehearsed. "It's not you," Jordan repeated firmly. "But Derek is trying to make sure everyone believes it is." Mariana pressed a trembling hand against her mouth. Fear twisted through her chest like a knife. Why would he? Why would he want a body that isn't mine to be me? Jordan's tone was razor-sharp. Because if a body is identified as yours, the case is closed. No more search. No more questions. No more reporters showing up at the cliff where the truth might slip out. She paused. And no more chance for you to return and expose him. Mariana's throat tightened. So he's trying to bury me twice. Jordan nodded slowly. Exactly. The thought shook Mariana to her bones. There was something chilling about a man so desperate that he would rather misidentify a corpse than risk the truth resurfacing. It told her everything she needed to know about how far Derek would go to protect himself. Jordan knelt beside her. "Listen to me carefully. This is good for us." Mariana stared at her like she was speaking another language. "Good. How can it be good?" "Because it proves he's desperate," Jordan said. "And desperate men make mistakes." She tapped Mariana's knee gently. "It also means the clock is ticking. He thinks he's getting away with it. He thinks you're out of the picture. That gives us power. We just need to use it before he gets too comfortable." Mariana nodded, though her heart was pounding. "So what's our next move?" Jordan stood, pacing slowly in the small living room. "Step 1. We keep monitoring everything he does. Every interview, every statement, every public appearance." She pointed at the screen, where Derek was now giving a carefully worded message to the community about loving gently and holding on to hope. "Look at him," Jordan said, voice dripping with disdain. "He's performing. This is a man who rehearsed his grief in the mirror." Mariana swallowed hard. "I know that look, that fake sincerity. He used it in arguments, too, whenever he wanted to win." "And he's using it now," Jordan said. "Which means he believes he has audience approval. The more confident he gets, the bigger the fall when we ruin him." She reached for her bag. "Step 2. I've arranged for your medical records, under your alias, to be moved to a secure off-site location. No one will be able to access them without going through me." "And step 3? Mariana asked. Jordan's lips curved into a small, fierce smile. "Step 3 is the most important. We build your story. Piece by piece, fact by fact. We create a record so strong even the slickest lawyer Derek hires can't poke holes in it." She pulled out a stack of forms from her bag. "I need your statement. Everything. We've talked before, but now it needs to be official for the record." Mariana inhaled deeply. "I'm ready." "Good," Jordan said. "But not today. Today you need rest. Because tomorrow—" She met Mariana's gaze with sharp intensity. "Tomorrow we begin preparing for the day you walk into town and set the world on fire." Mariana felt her heart thump heavily. A different kind of fear. A different kind of strength. After Jordan left, the apartment felt too quiet again. The news replayed the same scene. Derek shaking hands with police, Layla hugging strangers, candles flickering in the wind. Mariana watched with a strange numbness. These two people had once been her entire world. Now they were strangers wearing her grief like a costume. Hours later, as dusk settled outside, someone knocked on the door. "A soft, familiar knock." "Come in," Mariana called. Harris stepped inside cautiously, holding 2 paper bags. "Brought dinner," he said. "Figured you might not have eaten." She managed a small smile. "You keep showing up at the perfect time." "Well," he said, scratching at the edge of his beard. "I figured it's hard dealing with all of that." He jerked his head slightly toward the TV. Mariana sighed. Jordan thinks Derek claiming a body is good. I still feel sick. It is sick, Harris agreed gently. But Jordan's right. It works in your favor. Anyone who jumps to claim a body that isn't theirs is hiding something. He set the bags on the counter and pulled out containers. Chicken and rice. Soup. Fresh bread. Thought something warm might help, he said. Mariana felt a lump build in her throat. Harris, she said quietly. Why do you care so much? You barely know me. He paused, then pulled out a chair and sat across from her. I care because someone should. His voice softened. I've seen too many women fall through cracks in this world. Too many stories people ignore. Not this one. Not you. Mariana felt tears sting her eyes. I don't know how to be a person on my own, she whispered. I had Derek for 10 years. I had Layla for 20. My life was built around them. And now you're rebuilding, he said gently. And if you need help along the way, I'm here. She blinked back tears. Thank you. He shrugged, trying to act casual, but his eyes were full of sincerity. It's what good people do. After dinner, as Harris was packing up containers, Mariana spoke again. Do you think I can win? Against Derek? He's powerful, charming, connected. Harris wiped his hands with a napkin. You have something he doesn't. What? Truth, he said simply. And people underestimate how powerful truth becomes when it finally steps into the light. Mariana rested her hands over her belly. Then I guess it's time to start preparing for that light. Yes, Harris said softly. It is. He hesitated at the door. Can I check on you tomorrow? She nodded. I'd like that. After he left, Mariana returned to the couch and stared at the TV again. The news now showed footage from years ago. Her and Derek at a charity event, smiling for cameras. She remembered that day. She'd worn a red dress Derek said he loved. He had kissed her cheek and whispered that she made him look good. Now she saw it differently. Everything about him had been image, control, manipulation. She had mistaken attention for affection, charm for love, routine for loyalty. Never again. She turned the TV off and sat in silence, listening to the faint hum of the refrigerator and the soft wind against the window. Her body ached, but her mind began to drift. Not to the cliff or the fall or the pain, but forward, to the day she would stand again. The day Derek would see her alive. The day Layla's smile would crack. Her revenge wasn't the loud, violent kind. It wasn't the kind born from rage. It was slow, patient, calculated. It was the kind that came from survival. The next morning, she woke to gentle knocking. Harris stood in the doorway holding a small potted plant with purple flowers. What's this? She asked groggily. Hospital rooms and recovery places always look so dull, he said. Figured you could use a little life around you. She stared at the flowers. Lavender. Soft and subtle. The kind of plant that fills a space with quiet comfort. It's beautiful, she whispered. Just like you're going to be when you rise from all this, he said quietly. She felt warmth spread across her chest. Harris wasn't dramatic. He wasn't intense. But he carried a kind of steady gentleness that seeped into her bones. He set the plant on the windowsill. Jordan's coming today, right? Mariana nodded. She said she wants to start building the case. Harris blew out a breath. Good. Let's get this man. Later that afternoon, Jordan arrived with her laptop, thick folders, and an energy that filled the room instantly. All right, she said, dropping her bag on the table. We're doing this. Mariana sat across from her, fingers interlaced tightly. Jordan opened a new document, adjusted her glasses, and spoke in a tone that was calm but firm. We're going to build this story like a fortress. Brick by brick. Truth by truth. Mariana nodded nervously. Jordan pressed record on a small voice device. Tell me everything again. Every detail. No matter how small. Start from the morning of the picnic. Mariana inhaled deeply and began. She described the way Derek insisted they go somewhere remote. The way he dressed too formally. The way Layla just happened to show up. She spoke about the picnic blanket, the wind, the small slip of her foot, Derek's movement behind her, the sudden push. She described the fall, the cold water, the cavern, the crawl through tunnels, Harris's rescue. Her voice cracked when she described looking up and seeing Derek's empty eyes. It broke again when she described Layla's hidden smile. Jordan didn't type quickly. She typed deliberately, capturing every word with precision. Occasionally she asked Mariana to pause, clarify, or repeat something. She wasn't interrogating her. She was translating trauma into truth. When they finally finished, Jordan saved the document and ended the recording. "This," she said softly, "is your survival story. And it is powerful." Mariana wiped her tears. "Do you think people will believe me?" Jordan's gaze hardened. "People will have no choice but to believe you." Harris, who had sat quietly in the corner the whole time, stood slowly. "This is bigger than a case," he said. "This is justice. And you're strong enough to get it." Mariana looked between them, Jordan with her fierce intelligence, Harris with his quiet loyalty. For the first time in years, she felt surrounded by people who didn't want anything from her. People who weren't pretending. People who weren't manipulating her. People who simply wanted her to rise. "I'm going to do it," she whispered. "I'm going to face him." Jordan nodded. "Not now, but soon." Over the next few days they worked in quiet rhythm. Jordan documented everything, medical notes, timelines, location maps. Harris helped gather environmental details about the cliff. Dr. Collins provided medical reports under the alias, ensuring no one in the system could link the record back to Derek. Mariana rested when her body forced her to, but her mind stayed sharp. Every moment brought her closer to her truth. Closer to justice. Closer to the day she would walk into the police station alive and force Derek's world to snap under the weight of reality. But the universe moves in unexpected ways. On the 8th night, just as Mariana had settled into bed, her phone buzzed. It was the emergency phone Jordan had given her. She picked it up with trembling fingers. "Hello." A shaky breath crackled through the speaker. "Mariana." Her heart froze. She recognized that voice. Soft. Shaky. Familiar. Layla. Mariana felt ice spread across her spine. She couldn't breathe. Couldn't speak. "Mariana, if you're there. I need to talk to you," Layla whispered. Her voice was trembling, not with grief, but fear. I did something. I did something terrible. And I think Derek is going to kill me too." Mariana's knees buckled, and she sank slowly onto the bed. Layla whispered again, voice breaking completely. "Please, if you're alive. I need your help." Mariana's hand shook so badly the phone rattled against her ear. For a second she thought she was hallucinating, that the trauma and the pain and the loneliness had finally snapped something in her brain. Layla's voice came again, thinner this time, cracking around the edges. "Mariana, please, if this is really you, say something." Mariana's throat felt dry. 1,000 emotions crashed through her at once. Rage, disgust, heartbreak, a strange, ugly satisfaction. She wanted to scream at her. She wanted to hang up. She wanted to listen. She swallowed hard. "I'm here," she said quietly. The silence on the other end stretched out, long and sharp. Then she heard a sound like a choked sob. "Oh my God," Layla whispered. "You're alive." Mariana almost laughed. It came out harsh and humorless. "Disappointed?" "No." Layla said quickly. No, God, no. I thought you were dead. I saw you fall, Mari. I thought," her voice broke. "I thought he killed you." "He did try to kill me," Mariana said, her voice turning cold. "We both know that." Layla sniffed loudly. I know. I was there. I didn't stop him. I didn't do anything. I just watched." The confession wasn't new. Mariana had already replayed that moment in her mind 1,000 times. But hearing Layla say it out loud hit differently. "You smiled," Mariana said quietly. "I saw you. You smiled when I fell." Layla's breathing hitched. I didn't realize. I thought. I don't know what I thought. I was in shock. I was confused. He told me it was the only way, that you'd ruined everything, that you were going to take everything from him and drag all of us down. So you helped him get rid of me, Mariana said flatly. I never touched you, Layla whispered quickly, desperate. I didn't push you, I swear. I never laid a hand on you. He did it. She trailed off, and when she spoke again, her voice was small, almost childlike. I just stood there and let it happen. Mariana closed her eyes. She could still see that moment. The shock, the sky spinning, the roar of the waterfall, Derek's cold face, Layla's satisfied half-smile fading too late into fake horror. I don't care if you physically pushed me or not, Mariana said. You were part of it. On the other end, Layla broke down completely. Her sobs were loud, messy, ugly, the way people cry when their guilt finally claws its way out of their chest. I know, she gasped. I know. I'm a terrible person. I don't deserve your forgiveness. I don't even know why I'm calling you. She sucked in a shaking breath. I think he's going to kill me too. Despite herself, despite everything, something in Mariana's body went cold with alarm. Why? She demanded. What happened? Layla's words tumbled over each other, quick and panicked. He's changed since that day. More unstable. He drinks more. He doesn't sleep. He keeps talking about money, about how everything has to pay off, about risk and reward. The other night he grabbed my arm so hard I still have bruises, just because I asked if the police were going to stop searching the river. He said if I ever lost my nerve or opened my mouth, I'd end up just like you. Mariana's jaw clenched. So now you understand what it feels like to be in danger with him. I know, Layla cried. I deserve it. I deserve the fear. I can't sleep. I keep seeing you fall. I keep hearing you scream. I thought if I pretended long enough that you slipped, that it was an accident, that maybe my brain would believe it. But yesterday when that body was found, her voice cracked again. He tried to say it was you. He didn't even look sad, Mari. He looked relieved. Mariana opened her eyes and stared at the ceiling. Because if the body is mine, then the story is over. Yes, Layla whispered. And then the last night. He said something that scared me. What did he say? Mariana asked, her fingers tightening on the phone. Layla inhaled shakily. He said, loose ends are dangerous, Lay. Good partners don't leave loose ends. Then he just smiled at me. But it wasn't a normal smile. It was like the smile he had when he pushed you. Cold. Final. Like he'd already decided something. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Mariana could hear Layla's quiet sobs, the faint hum of some appliance in the background, the sound of her own heart beating in her ears. They were both trapped in the same storm now, just standing on opposite sides of it. You betrayed me, Mariana said at last. Not yelling, not accusing, just stating the truth. I know, Layla whispered. I betrayed you in the worst way possible. You helped the man I loved plan my death. Yes. You knew I was pregnant. You knew what that meant to me. Layla's sob turned sharper. I did. I knew. And I still stood there. Why, Layla? Mariana asked softly. Why did you do it? There was a long pause. When Layla spoke, her voice was heavy with shame. I was jealous, she said simply. Jealous of you. Of everything. The ring on your finger. The house. The way people talked about you. The way he looked at you in the beginning. I told myself I didn't care, that I was happy to be your friend, your support. But somewhere along the line it twisted. When he started coming to me with your problems, with his complaints, I felt chosen, needed, special. I told myself I was helping him, helping both of you, until helping turned into more. Mariana's stomach churned. I kept telling myself he would leave you eventually, that you didn't treat him right, that you didn't understand him anymore, that I was just stepping into the space you left open. But you didn't leave it open. He created it. He pulled us apart, fed us both half-truths. And I let him. I wanted to be the one. I wanted your life so badly I was willing to stand there while he ripped it away from you. Silence. Then Layla whispered. I am so sorry, Mariana. I know sorry means nothing. I know it doesn't undo anything. I don't want to die like this. I don't want my story to end as the mistress who helped kill her best friend. Mariana let the words hang between them. Forgiveness wasn't something she could reach for. Not now. Maybe not ever. But what Layla was saying mattered for another reason. Why did you call me? Mariana asked. How did you even get this number? I went to your parents' old church, Layla said quietly. There's a woman there who sometimes volunteers at the hospital. I overheard her talking about a mysterious pregnant woman, brought in after an accident near the falls. She mentioned that the woman refused to give her real name. I followed a hunch. I asked some questions. I shouldn't have. But I did. And then someone mentioned a lawyer, Jordan Reeves, visiting her. It wasn't hard to find Jordan's office. I saw her leaving yesterday, and I followed her. She went into a building outside town. Didn't stay long. I waited until she left, then checked which units had lights on. I know how that sounds. Creepy. Crazy. But I had to know. You followed my lawyer? Mariana said slowly. Yes, Layla whispered. I didn't go inside. I just waited. Then this morning, I did something stupid. I called Jordan's office pretending to be a new client. The receptionist gave me this emergency number. Said if I needed Jordan urgently I should call it. I took a chance. Dialed. And when you answered, She trailed off. Mariana sighed. You're lucky Jordan didn't catch you doing all that. I know, Layla said. I'm not smart. I'm desperate. You're dangerous when you're desperate, Mariana said. You already proved that. I know, Layla repeated, her voice breaking again. I won't ask you to forgive me. Please, Mariana. I need help. He knows too much about me. About my family. My finances. My past. He says if I ever turn on him, he'll ruin everyone I care about. He calls me his investment. He keeps saying, if you're not an asset, you're a liability. And I don't keep liabilities. The words made Mariana's skin crawl. She recognized the tone. She'd heard versions of it before in arguments behind closed doors, when Derek's mask slipped just enough. For a long moment, Mariana didn't speak. She could feel the baby shift slightly under her palm, as if reminding her she wasn't alone. Layla, she said finally, her voice calm but firm. I can't protect you. I'm barely holding myself together. If Derek wants to hurt you, I can't stop him. I know, Layla whispered. I'm not asking you to protect me. I'm asking you to let me help you destroy him. The room seemed to tilt for a second. That was the last thing Mariana expected to hear. You want to help me? She asked quietly. After everything you did? Yes, Layla said. Because he's a monster. And because if you take him down, maybe that can be the one thing I don't completely fail at. Maybe I can help fix one piece of what I helped break. How? Mariana asked. I have messages, Layla said hurriedly. Texts, emails, pictures. He never thought I'd keep anything. He always assumed I was too in love, too stupid. But I saved things. I have a recording too. From the night before the picnic. He was drunk. He said too much. Mariana's heartbeat quickened. What kind of recording? You don't want to hear it, Layla said miserably. But it's bad. He talks about risk and reward. About how accidents happen all the time at cliffs like that. About how sometimes life gives you one clean way out of a problem, and only cowards don't take it. He never says your name directly, but he talks about being free by Monday. He laughs, Mari. He laughs. Mariana's stomach flipped, nausea rising. I kept it because, at the time, I was scared. Not for you. For me. I thought if he ever tried to leave me or blame me, I'd have leverage. She gave a bitter, humorless laugh. Leverage? Listen to me. Like we were playing some business game. I didn't realize we were talking about your life. Mariana closed her eyes. Evidence. Real evidence. Not just her word against his. Send it to me, she said. I will, Layla said quickly. I'll send everything. Just please, Mariana. I don't know how much longer I have before he does something. He's been talking about taking a trip. Just us. Somewhere remote. I can't stop thinking about that cliff. I can't stop thinking, what if this time, I'm the one who slips? Fear flickered again, but this time it was mixed with something else. Strategy. Opportunity. Layla, Mariana said slowly. If I help you, if I let you into this, you need to understand something. Yes, this isn't about saving you. This is about bringing him down. Completely. Legally. Publicly. You will not be the center of this story. I will be. Do you understand? Yes, Layla whispered quickly. I don't want to be. I just don't want to die without doing something right. And you will still have consequences, Mariana said. You helped him. You stood there. You're not innocent. I know, Layla said. If I have to go to jail, I will. I just want the truth to come out. I want people to see who he really is. I want your baby to grow up in a world where their father is not worshipped as some grieving hero. The mention of the baby made Mariana's throat tighten. Fine, she said at last. Send what you have to this number. Don't tell Derek you called me. Don't change your behavior around him. Don't do anything that will make him suspicious. What are you going to do? Layla asked. I'm going to talk to my lawyer, Mariana said. And if what you have is as strong as you say it is, we're going to use it. Layla exhaled shakily. Thank you, Mari. I know I don't have the right to ask, but don't call me Mari, Mariana cut in. The nickname scraped against old memories that hurt too much now. You lost that right a long time ago. Layla's silence was filled with shame. Okay, she whispered. Mariana, I'll send everything now. Layla. Yes. If you try to play both sides, Mariana said calmly. If you warn him, or lie to us, or twist this in any way, I will not protect you. Not from him, not from the law, not from the media. Do you understand me? Yes, Layla breathed. I understand. Then send the recording, Mariana said. And don't call this number again unless I tell you to. She hung up before Layla could respond, her hand trembling so hard she almost dropped the phone. Her heart pounded in her chest, her breath coming in quick, short bursts. For a moment, she just sat there, staring at the blank wall, feeling the echoes of Layla's voice bouncing around in her skull. I think Derek is going to kill me too. Please, if you're alive, I need your help. A part of her wanted to feel satisfaction, to call it karma, to say, now you know what it feels like. That part of her was loud, angry, justified. But another part of her, the part that had spent years loving that woman as a friend, felt something else too. Grief. Not for the woman who betrayed her. For the girl she used to be. The girl who once stayed up late sharing secrets. Who once showed up with soup when Mariana had the flu. Who once cheered the loudest when Mariana got her promotion. That girl was gone now, swallowed by jealousy and bad decisions, and a man who knew exactly how to twist fragile hearts into weapons. The phone buzzed in her hand. A message. A known number. She opened it with shaky fingers. There it was. An audio file. Another. Screenshots of texts. Emails. A picture of Derek holding a whiskey glass, half his face in shadow, time-stamped the night before the picnic. Her stomach flipped again. She didn't play the recording. Not yet. Instead, she grabbed the emergency phone and dialed Jordan. The lawyer answered on the first ring. Jordan, Mariana said, trying to steady her voice. You need to come. Now. What happened? Jordan's voice sharpened instantly. Layla called me, Mariana said. She's scared. She thinks Derek is going to kill her. And she just sent me evidence. There was a tiny pause. Then Jordan's tone changed, cool, focused, etched with something like dark excitement. I'll be there in 20 minutes, she said. Don't play anything until I arrive. She hung up. Mariana stared at the phone. She felt like the ground was shifting under her feet again. But this time, she wasn't falling. Something else was. Derek's control. His story. His advantage. He didn't know it yet. But his own mistress had just lit the first match. And the fire was coming. Jordan is on her way. Layla has just sent evidence. Derek has no idea the floor beneath him is about to collapse. Jordan arrived in less than 15 minutes, moving with the speed and intensity of someone who smelled blood in the water. She didn't knock. She used the emergency code she'd given Mariana and stepped inside, shutting the door firmly behind her. Her eyes immediately found Mariana, who was sitting on the couch stiffly. the phone still in her hand as if it might burn her at any moment. What happened? Jordan demanded. You said Layla called. She did. Mariana whispered. She's scared. She thinks he's going to kill her next. And she sent proof. She swallowed. Recordings. Screenshots. Emails. Jordan stilled. Her eyes sharpened the way a predator's might before the final strike. Let me see. Mariana handed over the phone with trembling fingers. Jordan plugged it into her laptop, entering a series of commands. Within seconds, the screen filled with files, audio clips, messages, photos. She clicked the first recording. Derek's voice filled the room. Low. Drunken. Laughing. Risk and reward lay. You don't get reward without risk, you know that. Some people just need to get out of the way. Accidents happen. People slip. Sometimes life hands you a clean exit, and you'd be a fool not to take it. By Monday I'll be free, you'll see. Completely free. Mariana felt her breath hitch. Hearing it was different from imagining it. Hearing the tone, the confidence, the casual cruelty. It carved something deep into her. Jordan paused the audio. Her face didn't change, but the muscles in her jaw tightened. We have him, she said. Those 3 words hit the room like thunder. Harris, standing near the kitchen counter, let out a breath he didn't realize he was holding. What now? Jordan pressed play on a second recording, her eyebrows lifting slightly. This time Derek's voice was colder. Clearer. She thinks pregnancy makes her untouchable. Like I can't start over. Like she can trap me. I'm done being trapped, Lay. I'm done with her mood swings, her demands, her weakness. I'm done with her running my life. I'm taking it back. All of it. And you're going to help me. Mariana lowered her head, gripping her stomach. He said I was weak. Jordan paused the recording and looked at her. Weak people don't survive falls from cliffs, crawl through caves, hide their identities, and prepare to expose a murderer. Her voice softened just slightly. You're the strongest woman in this entire story. Harris nodded silently beside her, his eyes warm. Jordan clicked on the next file. A screenshot. Layla. Are you sure this is the only way? She's your wife. Derek. Not for long. Layla. I'm scared. Derek. Derek. Then leave. You think I can't find someone else to help? Don't be stupid, Lay. We've come too far to get soft. Jordan exhaled through her nose. He manipulated her. Groomed her insecurities. Classic narcissistic control. Mariana's voice was barely a whisper. Does it matter? She still helped. Jordan looked at her. Yes. It matters. But it doesn't excuse her. She's still accountable. She just happened to realize too late who she aligned herself with. Another file. An email from Derek to Layla. Saturday. Noon. Bring the blanket. Wear something casual. Don't forget your phone this time. No pictures, no calls, nothing traceable. Afterward we disappear for a few days. Let the public cry for a bit. Jordan's fingers froze over the trackpad. This is premeditation. Will this hold up in court? Mariana asked, hope thrumming under her fear. Jordan's voice turned into steel. Mariana, this isn't just enough to hold up. This is enough to bury him. Harris stepped closer. So what do we do? Jordan unplugged the phone and stood. You, she pointed at Mariana, stay here. You do not contact Layla again. You do not respond to anything Derek posts or says. Mariana nodded. Harris, Jordan continued, I need you to take this phone to a safe device and make 2 backup copies of these files. One encrypted, one standard. We'll need them both. Harris nodded firmly. I'll take the evidence to the police first thing in the morning, Jordan said. But no, she held up a finger when Mariana opened her mouth. You are not coming with me. Why not? Mariana demanded. This is my truth. And the moment he sees you alive, Jordan said, he'll panic. He'll disappear. Or worse, he'll try something reckless. Let me bring the evidence first. Let it shake him. Let it catch him off guard. Mariana hesitated. And then, Jordan stepped closer, her eyes blazing. Then we make your return the kind of moment he can't escape from. Mariana felt her heart pound like a drum. Later that night, after Harris left to make the backups and Jordan drove away with the original files, Mariana lay in the quiet apartment, staring at the ceiling. She couldn't sleep. Her mind kept replaying Derek's voice, his laugh, his drunken confidence. But under all of it was something else, a rising fire that refused to dim. She placed a hand over her belly. "We're almost there," she whispered. The next morning, Jordan stormed into the police station at 8:01 a.m., armed with the files and a fury that made officers step back on instinct. She demanded the chief of detectives. She got him. She plugged in her laptop and played the recordings one by one. She showed the texts, the emails, the photos, the timeline. By the time she finished, the detective's face was pale. This is attempted murder," he whispered. "And conspiracy," Jordan added. "And fraud. Insurance fraud. Witness manipulation. Evidence tampering. Shall I continue?" The detective swallowed. "Where is the victim?" "Alive," Jordan said calmly. "Hidden. Under protection. We need her statement." "She'll give it," Jordan replied. "But not yet." The detective frowned. "We can't arrest him without confirming she's alive." Jordan leaned in, voice deadly. "Trust me. He'll know she's alive soon enough." The detective opened a folder, tapping a pen against the desk. "We'll need Layla." "Oh," Jordan said with a cold smile. "Layla will cooperate." The detective frowned. "How do you know?" Jordan closed her laptop. "Because Derek is planning to kill her next." The detective went still. Jordan gathered her things. "I'll bring Mariana in when the time is right. But for now you get ready. When this breaks, it will break fast." That afternoon, the police knocked on Layla's door. She opened it trembling. When she saw the badges, she burst into tears. "Please," she gasped. "I'll talk. I'll tell you everything. Just don't let him near me." They took her into protective custody. Her full confession played out for hours. She broke down repeatedly. She told them everything Derek had said, everything he planned, every manipulation, every threat. She didn't minimize. She didn't lie. She didn't run. When she finally finished, the detective pressed his palms together and sat back heavily. "You understand you're facing charges," he said. Layla nodded, exhausted. "I know. I'll accept them. Just, please don't let him get away with this." "We won't," the detective said. 2 hours later, the police arrived at Derek's house. He opened the door with his now famous grieving face. He had rehearsed it, perfected it, until he saw the cuffs. "What is this?" he demanded. "Mr. Barnes," the lead detective said. "You're under arrest for attempted murder, conspiracy, and fraud." "What?" Derek shouted. "Where is this coming from?" "I'm the victim here. I lost my wife." "Your wife," the detective said calmly, "is alive." Everything inside Derek's expression shattered. The grief melted. The panic erupted. He stepped back, stumbling. "What? No, she's dead. I saw. She can't. She." "You failed, Derek," the detective said. "And she survived." They slammed the cuffs on him. Derek screamed. He fought. He kicked the cruiser door. "She's lying. Layla's lying. They're all lying. She slipped. It was an accident." But his voice cracked. His face twisted. He looked like a man watching his world collapse beneath his feet. Because that's exactly what was happening. News vans arrived within minutes. Cameras caught everything. And for the first time, Derek showed the world his real face. The phone rang in Mariana's safe apartment that evening. "Jordan." "It's done," she said. "He's in custody." Layla confessed. "The evidence is secured. The public knows he's been arrested." Mariana's breath shuddered. "Does he know I'm alive?" "He knows now," Jordan said. "What happens next?" Mariana whispered. Jordan paused, then spoke softly. "Tomorrow you come with me to the station. You give your full statement. And then," her voice warmed, "you walk out alive in front of the cameras." Mariana's heart squeezed. Fear and empowerment swirled together. "You ready?" Jordan asked. Mariana placed her hand on her belly. "Yes," she said. "For the first time, yes." The next morning, Mariana stood in front of the mirror wearing clean clothes Jordan brought her. A soft blue blouse, Comfortable jeans, simple shoes. No makeup. No attempt to hide the scars or bruises. She stared at the woman in the mirror. Not the wife. Not the victim. Not the betrayed friend. A survivor. A mother. A storm. Harris arrived to drive her. He looked at her with quiet pride. You look like someone who knows exactly who she is. I do now, she said. He held the car door open for her, and when she stepped in, it felt like stepping into a different life. They drove to the station. When she walked inside, officers looked up in shock. Some whispered. Some froze. Some stood quickly, unsure what protocol applied to someone who had returned from the dead. Jordan guided her gently to a private room. Take your time, she said. Tell it all. And Mariana did. Every detail. Every fear. Every betrayal. Every inch of the fall. Every moment of survival. Every bruise. Every lie. By the end, the room was silent. The detective folded his hands. Mrs. Brooks. I'm so sorry. This never should have happened to you. Mariana nodded, tears filling her eyes. But I'm here. And I want to make sure no woman goes through this again. The detective nodded. We'll make sure he never sees another daylight as a free man. When Mariana stepped outside, the world was waiting. Reporters. Cameras. Bright lights. A sea of microphones. Harris walked on one side of her. Jordan on the other. Someone gasped. Someone whispered, she's alive. Then the questions flew. Mariana, how did you survive? Is it true he pushed you? What about the pregnancy? Do you have anything to say to Derek Barnes? What do you want now? Mariana raised her chin. Her voice was steady, clear, strong. I survived because I refused to die. I was betrayed by the man I loved and the friend I trusted. But I am here. And I will tell my story so no other woman falls into the hands of someone like him. Flashbulbs exploded. Reporters leaned forward. And what do I want now? She continued. She placed a hand over her belly. I want peace. I want justice. And I want to raise my child in a world where the truth is louder than lies. The crowd erupted in applause. Tears. Shock. Jordan touched her shoulder gently. You did it, she whispered. Harris nodded quietly. You're free now. Mariana exhaled a long, deep breath. The breath she had been holding since the moment Derek's hand touched her back on that cliff. She looked at the cameras, the sky, the world, and she walked forward. Alive, strong, vindicated. Justice had arrived, and she had brought it with her. If you felt Mariana's courage, let me know in the comments what her journey taught you. Hit like, subscribe for more powerful stories, and share this with someone who needs a reminder that strength lives inside all of us.